So the herd help or the cornerman, your job is to contain this group of cattle in the middle of the pen. You don't ever want it to drift to one side or the other, because the cutter is thinking the whole time the herd's right behind him, and he's manipulating his run or her run around in a half moon around that herd. And if the herd's over here and the cow's here and it starts coming back, he's going to make this deal here moving and end up with the herd on the wrong side of him. And so then your turn back, your job is to keep the cow engaged to the cutter or to allow the cutter to get off. So these people here are very vital when the cutter wants to get off the cow. So if that cow's running that cutter back and forth and he's looking for a way off, turn back, you can come up and push or manipulate over to get the cow to look away and quit on the cutter, so then the cutter can get off. So when I'm in the turn back, I'm staring at the eyes of my cutter, because normally, like if I'm cutting, I will look up at my turn back, like give him a, with my eyes, like let me off this cow, like back off, let it look away, quit re-engaging it, because I want off, I want to go back. Yeah, that works too. So when your cutter goes in, your turn back, we usually start pretty deep. I like mine to start deep. So as I'm coming into my herd for my deep cut and I start pushing the herd out, your cornermen need to drift up the wall with the group of cattle that the cutter's pushing. And what that does is it creates windows for those cattle to circle back. If the cornermen are sitting up here or sitting back here in the corner and you're trying to filter cattle by, they'll come over and see someone sitting there and they'll usually hang up and sit right here. Well, your time starts when you cross that line. And so if you're sitting there trying to get cattle to filter to get the one that you want to cut, and they just keep going like this because your cornermen are sitting back there, it's just tick, 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 tick on your time. And so you want, in the corner, you want to drift up the wall with your cutter and create these pockets where the cattle can go back as that cutter's pushing the one out that they picked and they want. And then as that one singles out, then cornermen grab the cattle and come back and group them back to the middle and hold them in the middle. Questions yet? Comments, concerns? And as that, and so why I like my turn back to push out, because I want to drive mine out as far as I can before I drop my hand to start working. I don't want to push out to right here, because then you're rushed and it's like, oh God, okay, and we're going. I want to drive it out to where that thing's just sitting out there all by itself. I have time to get my horse settled, start supplementing my plan on which direction it's going to go out here away from the herd and not right back in the herd. Because if you're in here tight and you go to cut, it's real quick. That cow can blow right past you and get right back. And so my turn back help stays deep until that one pushes out, and then when you see your cutter drop, like, okay, I'm going to start working, then it's your job to keep that cow engaged. And your responsibility is like this, okay? And then on your herd help, as that cow's moving, you want to be like, if that cow's staying up in here, you want to kind of be up in this area. If that cow's pushing back towards the herd, you want to be back here to allow that cutter to go around you and cut the cow off along the fence. You don't want to be sitting out here and the cutter cuts between you. And I mean, if that's the case, that's the case, but this will be a back fence penalty. But at least they didn't lose it to the herd. But if you're sitting, drifting back here, keeping the herd bunched up, and that cutter can go around you and cut it off here, the worst it's going to be, it'd be a miss, because they were late here, they missed the turn, now they got to hustle back and regain that working advantage in the middle.
What about wanting to see the turn back people in the corner, stopping the cow, is that a
Helping, is that what you're saying?
they help when the
But I
cutter's
mean,
about to
yeah.
lose a cow, they'll jump out, stop that
Yeah,
cow,
is that
push it
legal?
back out.
Back here
Yeah,
or up here?
no, out back.
Back here?
Correct.
So that would, you could get an excessive herd help penalty, which your help helped you regain it, but a excessive herd help penalty is less than losing it to the herd. So I will usually thank my guys at the end if I got behind and cow tried to cut me back and they stepped in front of it and got it to turn its head to where I could get back into advantage, because I didn't lose it. Because I need to go back in the rule books again and read it up, but I believe losing a cow is 5. It's 5 or 10 to lose a cow, where an excessive herd help is 3.
And then what about when you lose them this way? So away from
Nothing this way. Usually if it takes off running this way and blows through your turn back help and takes off past the judge, you just sit there, head back to the herd, let them bring it back to the herd.
when you get a bunch of them that come out.
Then your turn back help need to help kind of get it guided back. They need to block, because usually your judge will be sitting about right here in a pickup. And so their job is to keep it in front of the pickup back to the herd. And normally there's a bunch of people back here warming up and stuff, and if you pull out and start pushing the herd and they take off running, usually everyone back here is like, ah, and everyone jumps in and pushes the herd back. But when you're actively cutting, these turnback people, I mean, you're covering all this ground, back and forth, keep re-engaging that cow into the cutter. It's not just stand here and 30 feet away from it, hey, 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 because you only get 2.5 minutes. And when you're sitting there and the cow's looking at you, nobody's moving, the judge isn't going to look. The judge will usually go down and start making ticks on your sheet until someone hoots, and then they'll look up, oh, they're working again. So you want to keep that cow engaged. And like when I'm helping non-pros or amateurs, like I'll ask them, like, do you want a lot of pressure? Do you not want a lot of pressure? Is your horse really green? Are you really green? And then I will manipulate back here how much they might be on a really green horse, and this might be their second time they've ever cut. So I'm not going to try to shove that thing down their horse's throat and get him to set down and spread his legs and really go to work. I just want to keep it engaged, let them make a move, it stops, get it engaged again, makes a couple moves, they stop, get it engaged again, make a couple moves, go get a new cow. But if it's an open guy and he's like, and you know the horse, then it's like, yeah, shove it down my throat, because I want that horse to be on his hocks, I want his front leg spread, I want him down in the dirt. He wants them shoved onto him to stay working. Then I'm constant, I'm like a rabbit. I'm pushing on that cow, keeping it shoved to that cutter. Because the cow's going to figure out he can't get by.
So there is no points for the turn back being too excessive?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. No, that's their job, is push that cow to them. Now if the cow's coming across and your turnback comes up and cuts it off on the fence.
If he does the cutter's job.
Yeah. And turns it back for him, then you can get excessive help coming this way. If you're sitting down here as a turnback and you're not allowing that cutter to get over here and stop it himself, the judge can ding you for excessive help. So I always like to say, we'll do purple as the cutter. So this, that's the cutter's territory. And so your job is to keep it going this way towards the cutter, and your job back here is to keep the herd in the middle and allow the cutter to take over this territory. And I always, when I got a cutter coming towards me in the corner, I always try to suck to the herd.
Give him more room.
And I've been dinged a couple times for it, which I don't know why, but I'm seeing the cutters taking a hard angle, so I push to the herd and create a bigger pocket here for them to work, and I block any hole that the cow can take to get by the cutter and try to cut through. and they've dinged me for herd help.
Too much excessive help per se.
I don't know how they dinged me on it. It doesn't make sense to me, but my job was to keep this herd safe from, one, the cow getting back, two, the cutter blowing through the herd, especially on greener, non-pros, amateurs. That cow beats them, they think, oh, I can still make it, and they'll hit the herd and scatter the herd. And then now you got to resettle the herd, try to get another one cut out. There goes your time. You just blew all your time trying to resettle the herd.
It's hard when you're cutting and you've got to make that hard run to that back fence. And your back person's standing right there and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
You're just stuck.
And that's where the corner man needs to suck over and give you that room, because it's your job to stop the cow. It's not my job. My job is to protect the herd. That's what I care about. I want to make sure that you can't get back to that herd and blow the herd up for your sake. So I'm going to suck back into the herd and try to, position my horse. It's like, oh shoot, that cow's going to come and try to circle back around her, and I might step over this way and get it to bump back this way and give you a chance to come back.
Slightly engage it back.
Yeah. Just say, no, you can't go this way, and it has to go that way. But for the most part, they're gonna be sitting over here in this corner, because that cutter's gonna do their job and keep it right here and trap it in the middle. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so you want to give them, so when that cow's coming this way, it sees you and tries to go this way, because it thinks, like, if on good herd help, this guy and this guy can stop a runaway, because he can bump it out. It's gonna try to run this way again. This guy can step down and slow it up in the middle and allow the cutter to regain control and stop it here instead of letting it run all the way across here. But there are cows that want to run back and forth, back and forth. That's what they want. You just want to get off. Just get off. And that's when you look up at your help, or you whistle at them or something, and they'll back down and let that cow go. And as soon as it looks away, instantly turn around. Touch your horse, turn around. And so that's the other thing. Cutting, you're not allowed to touch the horse with your free hand until you want to go back. And that's the first signal to the judge, I'm done on this cow, I quit, is lift your rein hand up, touch their neck. So if you're riding two-handed, I go like this, and just keep that rein in my hand and touch their neck. And if you watch the judge, they'll go, okay, and they'll look down, and they'll score what they wanted to score. And then they're not watching anymore. And so that gives you the opportunity that cow turned away, you touch your horse instantly. Like, you want off, that cow looks away, disengages, you touch that horse. And then it doesn't matter if the cow goes and then tries to re-engage you, you've already touched the horse and turned.
Okay.
And the judge considers it, you're off.
Which direction do you need to turn when you disengage?
I always turn away from my cow. So if I'm going this way and my cow's right here, and that cow turns, I touch and I turn towards the herd. If I'm going this way, I touch and I turn towards the herd. Because if you touch and you're going, like, you want to turn right and the cow's right there and it re-engages, and all of a sudden your horse spreads and starts working again, the judge might just be looking up and going, oh, they're working again. Versus just turn away. Touch and go. Questions? Ready to apply it?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Where's your enthusiasm?
We'll start it on the flag.